Welcome to the episode for the Culture Podcast, soccer podcast for us, by us. Talk about intersection of black culture and soccer. Got your boy here, Greggo here. Got
What the fuck? I'm sorry.
Mean Marc down here across from me. What's good with you, bro?
So out here surviving like my football club, apparently.
Yeah. And down below me is Skye from Shea Butter FC. What's good? That's a very perfectly centered tank top that you're wearing.
It is. That one is perfectly centered.
It's all the shirts behind me and the hoodies.
Yes.
That's my for the culture.
And then over here beside me is representing the Concacaf Champions League champions, Seattle Sounders
The
FC.
flag ain't even sit it right.
What? Don't worry about it.
I said what I said. Sylvs, what's going on? Has the libation still been spreading across the Pacific Northwest?
Oh yeah. Oh, most definitely. Might as well roll into the weekend at this point.
Nah, because when they go
They
to
got a
Dallas, and they be like, where are we? What?
Yeah.
What?
Oh yeah, that game might be a loss. Like, listen.
They were like, hey, we'll just come back to this like next week. We'll figure things out and go from there. But
it happens that way sometimes. So yeah.
But yeah. So it's been a very crazy 48 hours for the game, and like just when you thought that things were going to go slow into the night for Los Negros, like suddenly they said, let's push the chaos button real quick. Let's just do that real quick. And like a lot just happened, just out of nowhere. Like, actually, we need to rewind this a little bit, because we're recording this Thursday night because I wanted to make sure that we got this recording in by the Champions League final for Concacaf, but like this past whole week for MLS, for NWSL, for UEFA, even the Premier League, it's been a lot going on. And now, as you can see over here on the FTC the YouTube channel, you can see Sylvs is back home now. Now, a couple of days ago, she was down in LA with Skye for the Angel City FC debut at the Bank, and I have to say, that was a damn vibe.
That is the doubleheader was pretty good, I'll say, last year in Seattle, but that's certainly the most diverse experience I've had, and I've never done anything like that in the U.S.
It was super lit. The fuck? The hell? It was the shit.
It was an experience, man.
It was bomb.
Yeah.
I think for us that were watching on TV, and of course, I'm gonna let you guys kind of give your perspective, like on the ground and everything. But like, I can honestly say that I don't think I've ever seen women's sports presented like that, ever.
Right. I mean, I think you have the last two times in the Champions League for Barcelona. Obviously, they got to play at Camp Nou, and so I think they had upwards of 90,000. But that's an established club that has.
It wasn't a party like that. It wasn't a party.
You talk about like soccer from the closest I seen. I would say the first WNBA game way back when. Was that lit? But
LA and New York.
Yeah,
but in terms of women's sports, though,
women's sports, not recently. And recently, there's
Yeah.
nothing like it ain't been like that. Where I was like, this is like an LAFC game.
Yeah,
but better, but way more current.
Even before, they had a fan fest. We didn't even actually end up going into the fan fest
because we was at the supporter situation.
We were with the supporters groups and things like that, and just meeting a bunch of people that we hadn't gotten to meet in person. Hanging out with the most famous person of WOSO, Ebony Navidad.
Ebony Navidad. Ebony Christmas. Who should be going to Australia?
Wow.
We need a hashtag.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a whole separate conversation.
All I can say is unofficially, unconfirmed rumors is that there's some things that happen there that what stays in the bank, what happened in the bank stays in the bank.
Yes, that is. Yes, this is
the
true.
bank is Vegas right now. Yeah.
The bank is Vegas. Outside the bank, inside the bank. So
basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely in terms of WOSO the best experience I've had.
Yeah, we had 22,000 strong coming through for,
and it was loud as hell.
Angel City's first game with the bank against North Carolina Courage. They won the first game 2-1. You know, the first goal scored by June Endo, and you know, people have, like we talked about it last week, and we showed off that very lovely FTC name set worn by our homegirl Shayla. All of a sudden, it was like, oh, that looks dope. That looks dope. That looks dope. I was like, hey, come fuck with us. But it's cool that she happened to be the one that scored the first goal, and this is what I watched that game and I was like, this game is probably going to be responsible for like the expansion of at least 4 teams, because everyone saw that experience and like, how can we get this for us?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I was trying to like pinpoint it. The last time I felt that way watching a women's soccer match specifically, was probably '99. You know what I mean? Like,
wow.
You know what I mean? Like, it just had that.
Which
impact.
was also in LA, right?
LA, right? Exactly. But everything about it, even playing. I'm blanking on the song, but the opening chord right before kickoff, like,
yes,
oh, man. It was like
it wasn't California Love. It was
still
yeah.
DRE.
Still Dre. Yeah.
As Jen Hildreth said, now you know you're in California. Like, it was all perfect. Like the whole production of it, everything. Like, and I mean, to be honest,
coming out playing the Angel City anthem and everything.
That was cool.
I mean, player intros. I mean, it was little stuff. It was like, it was as lit as you see the LAFC games, but like I said, litter, and then it was loud as hell. Like, y'all heard it on TV. Yeah. It does not do justice to how freaking loud it was. It was like insane. So I'm glad Kristen didn't score, because if she would have scored, it would have popped our eardrums, and we were in the press box.
Yeah, and so we were up. The noise was coming up, and I could not hear after the June goal. And even the first, so June scored the second goal. She got the assist on the first goal.
Yeah.
And what's wild is where we were sitting in the press box, there was one where that corner flag is. There's a section of the pitch you can't see from that angle. You got to stand up. And I literally stood up right as she made that move on the end line to get that pass off. Like, just a filthy move on the on the end line. It was like high def. I could see it right down in front of me. But when Vanessa Gilles scores that goal, like, the place hadn't settled yet from the opening. Right. And I'm gonna be real with you, I don't think a whole lot of people thought they were gonna win that game. Like, a point would have been.
I mean, given how the Challenge Cup went and how it was kind of like all up and down, like, I think there was probably some reservation or hesitation as far as what was going to happen. But I feel like we finally got like a really good glimpse as far as what Angel City can be when everything's hitting.
Ooh. And I would argue everything.
Somebody down here has been saying that for, the longest time.
I think, well, no, I did a roundtable, and my prediction was I think they can sneak playoffs.
I don't think they sneak. I think they could get up in that thing.
Yeah, because it wouldn't shock me.
Because the thing is, like, because I was at every game, so in person that I could be. So watching them, particularly the last 2 games I saw in person, the things where they got, I mean, everybody's forgetting with the Challenge Cup, they had to play 3 games in 8 days as an expansion team. And this ain't basketball. This is soccer. So you got to get used to playing with each other. So, they effectively lost 2 weeks of practice effectively because the NWSL ain't shit. But basically, in particular, the Portland Thorns match, they were back to what we saw when we snuck into that practice. And we saw them like...
We didn't sneak. We were invited.
Okay, fine. We were invited and we rolled up in and we saw Pepperdine. Anyway, how they were dealing with Pepperdine, they were doing that to Portland Thorns. And I was like, ooh. But it was cool to see them in the game from what I had saw in person. Because it's stuff that y'all don't hear on TV. The communication and stuff. It was like it clicked. Because even a certain midfielder looked decent. And so I was like, okay.
That was funny. Game of her life, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was a good football match. I thought the scoreline was fair at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I was real hyped and still am throughout the season to see Carolyn, but we ain't see as much of her, at least not on the side I was on, because Jasmine was over there.
Yeah, Jasmine was shutting that down.
No.
Yeah.
she ate on the other side, but she ain't eat on that side.
Now, from a little birdie that might be a little angel and everything told me that, y'all got to meet, the queen of the game, the queen of the angels, before you left. And I'm not gonna say somebody got starstruck, but what happened, Sylvs? What happened?
You know what? You end it, you be like, I'm gonna be good, and then you're not good. You're not good.
I at least told her she was balling, and she was like,
"Well, I wasn't standing next to her, to be fair."
Yeah, she's standing next to her.
Now, for those of y'all who don't know and don't see all of Sylvs blushing right now, she met Kristen Press and Tobin Heath, both Skye and Sylvs. Had you already met her yet by this point?
No, I don't meet a lot of players.
No, she hadn't met her.
Not in person. Not in person. No.
So yeah.
Like, and it's purely from the soccer. Like, yo, you're the fucking baller. Like, yeah. But
it was okay. It's all good.
Very tiny, moment. Though. Cannot believe she's good at the sport of soccer.
Yeah, they are very tiny.
She has no business being good at the sport. She's tiny.
She's tiny.
Yes, tiny.
Tiny. Yes. My guy, tiny. I don't know how she doesn't fall over. I don't know how she doesn't fall over every.
You're not that big.
Yeah, they're all small. Also,
we know tiny. She's small, but but again, I don't like balance is obscene because she should fall over every time.
That's wow. But
yeah, like super chill, not like pretentious or anything. So yeah, I mean that's always
they're real cool people. They're cool people.
Yeah. So I had a good day. I got to actually do some kind of touristy stuff this time. Thank you to other people for taking me out. Skye's hosting skills are
You out here? You've been out here enough. You can fend for yourself. Shit, I'm not
twice. I've been there twice. Yes, you got it.
I mean, like we're trying to make our plans to get out there. Like it looks like Memorial Day ain't gonna happen because money's real out here. But
gas is
I mean, like when I go out there, I'm like, I don't want to just come just for the game. I want to actually like see a little something. See a couple things and like make the trip worth it.
You get a sponsor. You get food out.
You get a food out.
You got a Chicago
and or platonic sugar daddies.
Platonic sugar daddy. Listen, he said, I don't discriminate.
At this point, I'm like, hey, but however we can make this work, I will consider it, and we will see what's up. But yeah,
I feel that. I'm looking for a sugar mama who fine though.
Hey.
I know a couple. Well, you ain't got to get flued out there at least.
I mean, I need to be rolled around.
She's taking All-Star Weekend, WNBA All-Star Weekend application. She is now.
Oh, wow.
If you want to sponsor Skye.
Yes, that's right.
But
I'll climb that tree. I'm just playing.
But
oh my God.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, the Challenge Cup isn't over yet. Like we still got a final to go, but we happen to have
it's a little raw still.
Final on Wednesday. Like I said, Wednesday was just a whole lot, and
it was a lot for Seattle, man.
And I think it was a lot for Sylvs once again. What happened?
You know what? It is what it is at this point. But yeah, the Spirit and Reign played for the second time in 3 days, this time in the Challenge Cup semifinal. The Reign were the number 1 seed and we're playing at Audi Field. So do with that what you will. At Audi
in terms of Segra or Loudon.
True, it was supposed to be at Segra. And yeah, it was 0-0 through 90. I think Reign had more chances and probably played better.
Were there any calls?
An egregious missed handball. It wouldn't be so bad if we had already gotten jobbed by a handball call this year because in their last Challenge Cup game, Ally Watt got called for a handball to hit her in the face. So, like in the face.
Yeah, it like hit her in the face.
So,
I was like, wait, what?
So it's the second game in a row where it's just like, cool. Like, clearly that's how this is going to be this season. That's fine. And so because that call was missed, we went to penalty kicks. And there were some really good penalty kicks taken. Aubrey Kingsbury, the DC goalkeeper, actually took the third kick. And it ended 9-8 in favor of Washington. Once again, Black goalkeeper union, Fallon Tullis-Joyce. She's not gonna get called up, but she should. She should, because she's also 6'1". Just putting it out there. But she's had a phenomenal beginning of the season for a team that everybody was like, "Do y'all really have a goalkeeper?" I think she has absolutely ended that discussion. So yeah, I think more than anything, we're just angry, which might not be great for the league. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. I think Racing Louisville is about to catch some strays that they didn't earn this weekend.
So we got Carolina Courage and the Washington Spirit for the championship this weekend.
Where the higher seed will be playing at home. So congrats to North Carolina.
Greggo joined.
And so how are y'all looking at the championship? Like who y'all liking?
I mean, that's pretty. So in the Challenge Cup, those teams drew both times. I think in the first game, North Carolina was better in the first half. DC was better in the second. I think in the second game, North Carolina probably should have won and didn't.
Yeah.
And they're at home. I guess that's an advantage. They both have to travel anyway, but and I thought North Carolina is coming off of a win in the rain, by the way, so the weather should be a lot better for them. I don't know, because I think North Carolina's in the space now. They're not playing Dorian, who we both think should play, but they're playing younger players, right? Out of necessity. And it's kind of what Washington had to do last year, right? I think there's a lot of similarity there. And to me, the best player on the best day is still Davinia. So we'll see. It also depends on if Casey Murphy comes back for Carolina. Because if they get Casey Murphy back, or one of the Pickets or something, like they've got some injuries. So if they can get some of that.
I forgot about goalkeeper situation. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. They got to play. North Carolina got to play like a team because they ain't play like a team. That's part of how Angel City got them.
Yeah, I actually when I saw the result, I was like, wait a minute, the Courage made the final. Like it didn't feel like, given how.
Well, Kansas City is so hurt. That's problem one, and
their defending is suspect right now.
Yeah, they're so hurt. They're missing so many key players because the Challenge Cup Ramsap went through their roster real bad.
Yes.
Yeah, that's part of it. I figured they was gonna win that game, but nobody had anybody to check Carolyn, so she was cooking everybody on.
Carolyn did whatever she wanted to do.
Yeah,
in that Challenge Cup match. So, and which is what I expected again in LA, and that just didn't quite go that way. She still had a few moments, but they were pretty able to contain her. And I actually think that ACC defense is pretty good. Defense is not the issue. And eventually Press and Charlie will play together, right? And then you have Press and No Charlie on their front line, which is it's horrifying. But yeah, I think I don't know. I'll maybe give it to North Carolina just because they're home.
Yeah.
I don't really have a legitimate reason to pick them over Washington. Most people are going to tell you Washington's a better team. That's probably true on most days, but
yeah, they're the better team.
Carolina seems to have figured something out, though.
Yeah, so I kind of made an impromptu trip up to DC, and I saw the Spirit in person. That was actually my first NWSL game, and so that was cool. And that forward line, man, of Hatch, Sanchez, and Rodman, oof, it's nice. I mean, whenever they get on the break, and then Rodman just pulls wide, stride for stride, who's keeping up with her? And so I was kind of. So, even with the players Washington have, Sylvs, you still believe that Davinia is the best player on the field in that matchup?
At her best, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
Word.
At her best. Still, only because I would give Trinity like another year or two, not because she's not already there, but because I'm gonna give Davinia some credit for just being around, like and doing it consistently. Yeah,
because even the Angel City game, Davinia scored that damn goal because she came flying into the box.
Right.
And I was like, y'all need to mark her. Well, what the hell? Don't do that no more. But she can do that, so she could do that to Washington. Yeah. And the Skillets back there can't stop Davinia if she wants to do what she need to do.
Yeah, Skillets definitely made an appearance.
The issue is the issue is you have Carolyn, like, and they don't have a learning curve. They know how to play together. Like it's instinctual with them. So they're gonna make passes you can't defend.
Yeah, that's true. And also because they have,
I think Washington can easily win it, by the way. But yeah,
but North Carolina. The other issue is North Carolina refuses to play Jorian and other legitimate starting forwards because they keep playing a certain person. If she can't defend, she can't defend. But apparently the Pickets are back, so
it's gonna be interesting. Pickets are back, yeah, because I do think the Pickets can do a decent enough job of containing. But I don't know. Like, I really do think it's a toss-up.
It's who's.
But yeah, Carolyn's different though. Carolyn's different though. That's different.
It's also gonna be who wants it and who is tired on Saturday because you done played multiple games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. I would say maybe Carolina's a little more tired because they had to fly back across the country. But they also played yesterday, and they didn't fly. They flew from LA to Kansas City, so it's not like they went directly to North Carolina again. So, yeah, we'll see. I think Washington also played a longer game, so
yeah, part two.
That might matter.
Who wants the Sippy Cup trophy? That's the question.
I mean, they want the money, and that refereeing decision wouldn't be
all this count because technically, this is preseason, so technically, like I said, why they have it overlap in the actual regular season, I won't understand. But hey, go with God on that one.
Oh yeah, that's what Mitch Parks talked about that in an interview with in a podcast with Becky Sauerbrunn, and she was talking about how it sucked the day it delayed their preparation for the regular season, and then they didn't get the bonus when they lost against Portland last Sippy Cup. So yeah,
right. So it's just not. The league's got to figure out a better way to do that. Either incorporate it into the season like an FA Cup or a League Cup,
right?
Or do or like do it like the Commissioner's Cup in the WNBA, something, but like in the season.
Yeah, let them have preseason so that people can just see people play and people don't get hurt because you got 26 people rosters.
Yeah. And it's not getting you fans. It's not getting you new fans. Like I don't believe that for a second.
Right.
No, I think that we saw this a couple of weeks ago that the Challenge Cup was outdrawing MLS, so it's like it definitely has some value.
But I mean, a regular season game will do that shit. This is what it's like. Just put the regular season game because it's like, for example, when they play Angel City versus San Diego, people were thinking, "Oh, Angel City is gonna suck" because they played the third game in 8 days against San Diego, who was rested. Like there was no balance, and so thankfully on that shitty ass pitch, you had a fun ass game, but it could have went sideways where Angel City could have got beat 5-0. And then you would have been like, damn, that sucks. You know what I'm saying?
It's just like having a preseason tournament just doesn't, people aren't at their best. Teams deserve the chance to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
They wouldn't do that anywhere else where there's a league that's established, right? Like Barcelona ain't playing a whole preseason tournament. Like get out of here. Like they're not.
Right.
And they're not doing it in England. Like it's in your season. That's the expectation.
And the reason it even came about was because they thought women's soccer was going to fall apart in the United States due to the pandemic. That's the only reason the Challenge Cup existed. So it's like make modifications so it makes sense. So move it in season.
Right. Because it wasn't technically a preseason tournament. It was the season.
Right. They didn't know what they were going to have.
It was the season.
There's some value to the Challenge Cup. I just think that the way it was executed, that needs a lot of work. So
it needs to move.
Hopefully in the future, they figure this part out. But Just to pivot real quick, because I mean we got to talk about the world has changed all of a sudden, because now we are living in a world where an MLS team has won the Concacaf Champions League. Suddenly the skies are a little bluer. Suddenly, the fish tastes a little sweeter out there in the fish market out in Seattle. Like, everything just suddenly is
Ice Place, baby.
It's a big deal. It actually went through Pumas in Seattle with a spanking brand new record of 68,871 people in Lumen Field on Wednesday night, setting a new attendance record for the Concacaf Champions League.
That's because of Marshawn.
Whoop that ass 3-0. And there was one thing that I happened to just think about during the post game aftermath. Mexico dropped Puerwell 2 years ago, and now suddenly MLS is caught up and won Champions League. Because like I don't know if y'all realize, like, Mexico had won, like, a Mexican club had won, I think, like the last 12 or 13 Champions Leagues in a row.
Pretty much since the new iteration of this competition.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
They had this shit on absolute lock.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly things change. You're like, Now, I will say this. If there was any MLS team that probably would have done it, it would have been Seattle, because they've been by far the most consistent in the MLS since they joined the league. Like, they've made the playoffs every year. They've won 7 trophies within MLS and U.S. soccer with the U.S. Open Cup. Like, they've been franchise. And I think that
we are. And I know we're not everybody's favorite, but yeah, they run a good franchise. Like, they do.
But they've been the team, and so for them to go into that second leg, of course, like we missed the I mentioned it during last week's episode, because the first leg was going on. They managed to tie it up in the last minute with a PK and everything. So they came into the game with a 2-2 even score. So basically, it's like, hey, win and it's yours. And even with the injuries that came in the first half,
bro, like half our team is gone.
Like Ja Paulo, I think the word is he got a torn ACL.
Yeah, that's not good. It's not good.
Even with that, like, and you actually, I think he was replaced with a 16-year-old in the first half.
Yeah,
and he held his own. And like I said, Seattle got a how could I put this? It was divine intervention with that first goal, with a deflection, and then in the second half, like, once they got that second goal, it was like, like it's actually about to happen.
And they're the first MLS team I've seen that's just like, we're gonna push for 90. We don't care.
Yes,
if we have a lead.
yes.
I think some teams have been tentative. They
didn't settle for that one. They said, hey, we're gonna keep going. And I think that because, like, for all the attempts that MLS has had in the Champions League, especially ones that have made it to the final, like, typically what's happened is they'll do all right in the first leg, but then that second leg is where the depth will show. And they're like, we don't have quite enough depth to hang on here. And Seattle had the depth. Like I said, and they literally had to show that they had the depth because they had those injuries in the first half. And it's what does this change for MLS? Like I said, does Garber go out on the mountain and say, I told y'all.
Garber got other problems right now. Right to the south of Seattle.
Oop.
Yup.
But I mean, it's hard to say. I think there is such joy that, again, even though not everybody's favorite team is Seattle, like, the MLS finally got it done, and it makes a lot of sense that it is this franchise, like you said, sort of that model of consistency through the league since it's been here. I don't know. Like, I don't know what this looks like next year. I don't know if another MLS squad wins next year. I think they certainly could, but it's clearly about depth.
I think
and
it's
just having that attacking
will be
mindset.
tricky because with the World Cup being so late in the year, it's like when exactly does the Club World Cup happen? Like,
That's a good point. Yeah.
because like of course the one for 2021 didn't happen until February of this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be likely that the
Probably
next
again.
Club World Cup will happen until 2023, which means you probably have a different team and
Yeah.
like so like who knows what that momentum will be at that point. Now, one thing I
That's
will
fair.
say, and I need to because I was listening to I think it was Counterattack on Sirius earlier today, and one of the things that was said was that given the uncertainty at goalkeeper, Stephen Fry needs to get some love. And
I was gonna ask, should he get a look?
yes, yes. I mean, all considering, like I said, Seattle's been so consistently on top. It's like, how has he not been looked at already? Like that, it kind of blows my mind. Like, I thought it was like maybe a case like he wasn't eligible for the U.S. Like he was representing for another country. But I'm like, you mean tell me all this time we could have called him up? Like,
I imagine it's his size that has something to do with it, right? I mean, like I feel like goalkeepers in particular get stereotyped in that regard. Not to mention, and like the fact that he plays in MLS, unfortunately, doesn't help his case. Even though, like,
I mean, like
I think these keepers sitting on the bench in Europe
got to shine. Corvette got to shine. Of course, when Stefan was starting to get his regular run with the national team, he was still in MLS. So it's like I don't think that's a hang up, but at the same
And
time,
even Turner now, right? He's going to Arsenal, but
But see, that's the thing though. Like those guys, like just I guess they feel a need to move to Europe anyway, and then they're sitting on the bench, which is why there's this dilemma. Not to mention the Turner situation is stupid, and it's as much as U.S. soccer absolutely deserve. But yeah, I mean, I guess why not? I mean, hell, like Sean Johnson could probably get a look too at this point, right? Like,
I mean, all these considered, like I think you have a couple of keepers in MLS that, at least as of 2022, are in a better form right now than Stefan or Turner, and of course that's continued from their forms from last year and previous years. Because again, with Fry, like how do you just not how do you ignore someone that's just been that consistent on a top team and just be like, he's on the old side. I'm like, goalkeepers don't age like that. Like they don't age like anybody else. So like if anything, you probably get him at the perfect time to get an opportunity. And I think that for the Sounders, hopefully, like I saw a statement from Garth Lagerway, the GM for the Sounders, and he was talking about like how they've been trying to get some of these teams to open things up as far as the money and the ambition, and so it was interesting to see like how someone from the front office side actually speak on the fact like, hey, getting some of these teams to actually show some life and some ambition is like pulling some teeth.
Well, and Gregor, like you asked the question earlier, what does this do for MLS? In the short term, what they needed to do is up their TV ratings, right? Like that's been one of the big themes this season. And this is something that like you and I and others have like kind of been ringing the bells. Like this will happen if your product doesn't stand the test of public scrutiny. Like you mentioned even the comparison to NWSL ratings, right? And like the difference is like NWSL has top players in the world, like MLS does not. And it's and the best American players, huh?
Go ahead.
No, and like the best young American players leave as soon, like sooner rather than later. So it's like it's fine. Like MLS has gotten better over the years, but it's like it's stagnating.
I mean, Max Bredos asked that question. I think it was yesterday on Wednesday. That's like, how do we get past 300,000 watching on TV? And it's like MLS and its network partners don't do a good enough job promoting
better quality.
Not even so much that. It's just like you take the NFL and how much their network partners spend on covering the NFL. Like they like their coverage is nonstop. And I think that with the little bit of money that's getting paid to MLS, like you're basically getting what you're paid for. And so like they're not getting treated as though this is a must watch game. This is a watch week. We're not hyping up games, from at least Wednesday to Saturday, let alone Monday to Saturday. Like you're not getting that type of hype. And if you don't have a draw, why are people going to show up? Why are people going to tune in? We're at a point now where the attendance game is all right. What you're trying to do now is get the TV and shore it up to where this is supposed to be the number one domestic league in this country. And you mean to tell me that with all the soccer fans that are available in this country, you can't get 500,000 on a Saturday or at least on a Sunday when the national TV games are on? That's a problem. And with them going into a contract year where they're trying to get a new TV deal, trying to rearrange everything, the fact that you have these low ratings, it's like you're not helping out your cause. And I think that there's so many issues that come into play there that we probably need a whole another episode for that, because there's just things that there's a disconnect that comes into play as far as why people, like I said, there's a lot of soccer fans in this country, but are they MLS fans?
Yeah, exactly. I do. Do you think they re-up with ESPN?
I think that's they at least get a part of it. So I think that with what the infrastructure that ESPN has is too good to pass up. Because I mean, you have CBS that's growing and developing a really great niche. It sounds like Turner is getting the mix.
Yeah.
You ever heard Apple Plus is trying to make a move? I think that comprehensively, ESPN still gives you the best overall package between both TV and streaming, whereas there's at least some disconnects between those two with pretty much everyone else. I think they would be. I think they need something fresh. I think that what CBS has been developing, both with the U.S. national team and with the UEFA Champions League, I think that's something that could really be good for MLS to have that fresh take and that fresh attitude. That would definitely be something that would work, especially with CBS losing the SEC football in a couple of years. Like you basically would have a Saturdays wide open in the fall. So I would say if CBS is willing to give it, take it. But
I imagine y'all would actually let CBS use their own cameras. So that's a
it would be smart, but
well, what's crazy.
Well, our league hasn't figured that out yet, so.
Yeah. God, yeah. No, but, just real, like what's
go ahead.
Yeah, like of all the soccer that I watch, right? It's the hardest for me to watch Atlanta United. Like I have, because of the cable situation. Like I have to make arrangements, go out to a restaurant or go to the game if they're home, right? But like other than that, I would have a really hard time watching it. I could watch any Premier League team, any NWSL team, any Bundesliga, La Liga, like all of that is easy for me to get. Even any other MLS team, which just doesn't make sense.
Is that thanks to Skye's bootleg, like I see the stuff that gets covered over in England, and like people don't really understand like how much soccer we get over here,
right?
And like how good of a spot we are as far as getting soccer, and I think with that, MLS has to step the shit up. I mean, there's really no other way to really put it. Like there's a lot that is kind of left on the table as far as making it appealing, because like it's one thing if you're in a city where MLS is, it's like, hey, like you can follow your local team, but like it's not like the NFL where someone down in Jacksonville is going to just automatically follow Atlanta or Orlando or Miami. Like it just doesn't work the same way. I think that, of course, that goes into the whole pro rel argument, like you need these other markets that aren't MLS involved as well, because otherwise, why do those cities why are they going to turn into MLS? Like I said, they have their own teams that's doing their own thing. I was with somebody yesterday, and Crystal Quadra, she was former guest on the show, and she was like, it's easier for her to watch the Oakland Roots on TV than it is the Earthquakes.
Yeah.
And
Right.
and then think about that. It's like you need both Oakland and San Jose and San Francisco. You need the whole area. And it's like there's countless metros just like that where it's like, why am I going to go watch this team when I already got my own team over here? And that's something that
ESPN3 shows all those like USL 1-2 games. Like it's not hard to find.
Right.
Like that's something that I think that, obviously MLS has this thing that they believe this, it works for them. But I think that, at some point they're gonna have to recognize that they need the USL market somehow, some way, and whether it's bringing them into what they got going on with MLS Next and probably developing a division on top of that. But it's something that it doesn't shock me that things are going the way they are with their team negotiations, and in the end of the day, that affects how MLS grows and how things go in the future. But again, congrats to the Sounders, congrats to MLS, I guess. But on the flip side, we're going to cover the two teams that are making it to the Champions League final, and in 2 up and 2 down. Miami finally did it, so we will go into that and a little bit more. So let's get a quick word from our fam at 2 cents, and we'll be right back. And we're back. Lovely to have joined us is TK on the ones and twos. Thankfully, his mic is finally working. What's good with you, boss?
Nothing much, man. Just happy to be back. Been on the road, so been busy the last couple weeks.
Good. We're glad to have you for the second half of the show, and and I have to give TK a shout out because I don't know if y'all noticed on the YouTube, but my skin is looking great on this M1. I mean, I got to tell y'all, man. Like,
I can see that big head.
Wow.
Hey, the retina hits differently, doesn't it?
It does. So
it's in HD.
Catching
it
all.
Is.
It's in 4K.
It's catching all of it, man. But yeah, of course, like even with everything that happened, last weekend, the first part of the last part of Wednesday night, so we haven't really got into the main feast of Wednesday. And also Tuesday with the Champions League second legs and over in Europe. And me and Sylvs, we have coined the team in Madrid. We have a new name for them. They are no longer Los Blancos. They are Los Negros.
Hey.
Because I don't know, like in case y'all haven't noticed yet, Real's getting black. Real black.
Real fast. Yeah. They holding on to that midfield for dear life, but yeah, it's getting blacker.
Yo, there was a sprint late in the game Luka Modric did. I was like, how is he still doing this? It doesn't make sense.
Because he don't got to play again till the final.
I mean, Real has they clinched La Liga this past weekend. That's their 35th La Liga title, and something that honestly it didn't quite click to me until I saw it that day. Carlo Ancelotti has won the domestic league in each of the Big Five European leagues, and he's about to enter his sixth Champions League final, going after his fourth Champions League, which nobody in history has ever won more than 3. And for some reason, like people don't give him the love as far as like being just listed amongst the very best ever. Now
I was cracking up. Because people are like, when something's wrong, he just stands on the sideline and raises his eyebrows. I'm like, what phase is that man at this point?
like he's seen it all. He's literally seen it all in each of the countries, and he's like, my coffee's getting cold. Let me get that real quick.
Right. He's like, give me my coffee. Like, what? And honestly, like, I don't think he put them in a terrible position in the second leg. Like, I don't think they played poorly. City's just a well-oiled machine, but I don't think they played poorly.
They tried as much as they could during that second leg against Man City, and just for like 85 minutes, like it just wasn't working. I mean, Man City did manage to get a go-ahead goal, which they thought was going to be enough.
I turned the TV
Real
off.
just said, "Hold up, player, we got something," and they scored in the 90th minute, and then got a very beautiful header to tie things up in the 93rd minute of extra time, and then just out of nowhere, Man City caught that lemon booty.
Just tight cheeks, boy. I feel like once they got the first goal, you were like, "Oh no, it's a Pep team in the Champions League. Like, this ain't gonna go well." And I saw a stat where like most of his losses, the goals have come in like quick succession.
Yeah, I saw that tweet. Like it's like real short bursts, and like within like 15 minutes, it's like, oh, all of a sudden the shit just blows up in his face. And you know, like for those of y'all who have heard me over the couple of years that we've been doing this podcast, I've told y'all like Pepe ain't like he's just a good domestic league coach, because Champions League just ain't his bag. If he doesn't have Messi and Xavi, you know, with him, it just doesn't quite curl quite right. And once again, because they were talking about a few weeks back that he's made more semifinals than anybody else. I'm like, you have to call him Mr. Semifinal, because when it comes to the finals, if it ain't in Barcelona, it probably ain't happening. And like I'm wondering, like, even like with the commitment that City said that they had towards him back at the beginning of the season, I'm wondering that they look at this and they're like, we might have to reconsider some things if things don't finally turn over pretty soon.
I don't know though.
Because
that was magic. That was magical shit.
Hey, but the thing about it is magical shit keeps happening.
I mean, but the Negroes. Damn, I got tanned enough that you can see the hand and look like a black hand.
I think
I see you with your summer shade. I see you with your summer shade.
That's just the lack of lighting.
It takes a really special coach to be good at both league play and tournament play, because
Ferguson
different.
only won 2.
Right, and it is a talent because it's 2 very different styles of coaching. And most coaches who win Champions League don't always win their league, right? Real Madrid, I guess, has that chance. In theory, Liverpool does, though they're not in the league right now. But I think that's really hard. And I think Pep is an amazing league coach because he gets an entire season to play around with lineups and tweak things and try things. You get to play lower teams who are getting relegated, that kind of thing. You don't get that in Champions League. It is best teams in Europe all the time.
Yeah.
And I think he is classically capable. He overthinks a lot. I do. I don't think he actually did this match. I kind of think his players just didn't play well or well enough. I mean, he always makes interesting choices, but his subs actually work. Like, that's when they got their goal. Because Gundogan gets that ball in the middle and gets it off to Mahrez, who just takes the shot because he sees Courtois, who played out of his mind, by the way, off his line. That's the one mistake he made all game. And so, I don't know. It'd be interesting if he left City, because I imagine most clubs are going to try to get him. And who does City bring in?
I don't know if they get rid of him. You know what I mean? Like, I could see.
No, I don't think this year.
No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how long
this year. I think that if it happened again next year,
I don't know. I think they would just let him see out the contract, and then maybe just not re-up him again.
2 more years left.
I think
2 more years, but they about to go get that Norwegian, right?
It's like,
but I mean, he'll try to. I mean, of course, the big story that came out today was at least it was. Some people confirmed it. Some people said his mama said, "Nah, it ain't happened." But Kylian Mbappe signed a new 2-year deal with PSG. But his mama said, "Nah, it ain't go down like that." So,
well, his mama out here arguing
with him doing this. It didn't happen.
I think that he's obviously probably gonna be waiting on what Norwegian does, Holland does, because obviously wherever he goes. They can't spend on both of them, so
right.
Yeah, so
I mean, in theory, City could, but I don't think he has any desire to be in the Premier League.
I don't think that's his lane at the moment. And of course, given
I just don't think that's what he grew up caring about. Like he clearly liked La Liga. Like he wasn't
He actually had a trial with Chelsea, funny enough, and they asked him to come back, and his mom was like, "I'm not making that trip again." No.
Like, he makes decisions because his mama don't want to travel. Okay, he might stay.
My mama said.
My mama said he might stay.
All right, Bobby.
Oh man.
But I mean, I think that with what Real's been able to accomplish these past couple of weeks, and Real's getting super black, and I think that even for it just seems like they did they come back against PSG because
they came back against Chelsea. That was supposed to be his audition for Real Madrid. He passed, by the way.
Yeah, they came back against Chelsea, then they came back against City,
and it's like each one was later.
Yeah, later and later, and just once they scored, once they tied it, I was like, oh, it's a wrap. There's no way Real Madrid loses.
Yeah, because they got the PK in extra time with Benzema showing up. And it just
and they didn't have Alaba. They didn't have Alaba in the back this game.
Right.
Yeah, he was out. Yeah, he was out with injury. Like it's amazing to me how quickly, like I said, City fell apart. And then of course they'll be facing Liverpool, who didn't have
last time that happened,
they didn't have an easy one on Tuesday either because Villarreal came back with the 1-2 real quick in the first half. Yeah. And then in the second half, Liverpool finally took over and scored 3 unanswered to take that.
That match was interesting in that one. I think everybody on earth knew Klopp would make the adjustments, and clearly Diaz was the answer over Johnson at that game. 2, Unai Emery knows what he's doing. Speaking of tournament coaches, like that dude knows how to coach a tournament, and dudes run through walls for that man.
Yeah. He actually might be somebody if City did move from Pep, like I said, you have someone that.
Do you think he's good at big clubs?
You get someone
that good. I think he struggles at big clubs because of the pressure. I think he'll always be he can get more out of less than he can with more. Does that make sense?
Especially with that style of
what happened with Arsenal was just
Arsenal was a raw deal.
He was the one after the one, and that just wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
But and it might even be the case here where you're trying to follow Pep, and it's will you get that same support? But
I do PSG. I don't hold against anybody.
I think he would be one that would definitely be a strong suggestion as far as any potential successor to Pep. But like I said, I see at least one more year for Pep, and then if it doesn't happen again next year, some hard choices gonna have to be made.
Could it be this? Could it be because isn't Conte out here dry begging for one of these jobs?
Yeah. That's the word. Does
Unai go to Tottenham?
That would be a mistake. Ooh. Tottenham need a complete Manchester United.
You know what? Honestly, with the way things are going for Tottenham,
does Poch come back home?
No. I think Spurs need to do everything in their power to try to keep Conte. I feel like he's got them in a good space. The season looked lost a few months ago. Now they're suddenly challenging for a top 4 spot. They got Arsenal next week, and they and that's a huge game for both teams. Like I said, because both of them are still trying to get top 4. And it's I don't think I don't think they get that spot without Conte. I'd be like, hey, let's try to make this work. Like, let's finally put some money into this. Let's, figure out what's going to happen with King. I think he's finally moving and everything. So let's fill in what we need to fill in, and let's see if we can actually make a real push. Because I think wherever Conte has gone, I think he's won the league like within his second year. So I'd be like,
yeah. I mean, he's a good coach. It comes with baggage. He's not Mourinho, but like it comes with baggage. But he's good at what he does.
Mourinho, hey, let it not be
getting the good Mourinho right now. You get good Mourinho.
He made the Conference League final with Roma with
him and Tammy.
Yes.
Every Thursday, I forget the Conference League exists. Every Thursday. Quiet as kept. Mourinho has made another European final, and like that Roma squad's pretty good considering what they have. Tammy out here eating under Mourinho, so
yeah.
But it's gonna be a wild final, and shout out to the women who also have their final set. It'll be Barcelona versus Lyon. So Katarina Macario is going to the Champions League.
Those are the two best teams, pretty much. I mean, obviously,
it's the one we all wanted. It's the one we wanted.
Yeah.
I feel like this is probably one of the better years for both the men and women as far as finals go.
Yeah,
like all that you can really beat the matchups on either side. Where is on the women's final this year?
I think it's in England. I think I could be very wrong about that.
That boy, where at?
It's not France because the men are in France.
Now, one thing about France, because Paris is hosting the men's Champions League final because it was supposed to be in Ukraine, and due to the war, they were like, can't have it there. And I had actually suggested Paris, and then lo and behold, because like Paris hasn't hosted the final since 2006, and I was like, that's way too long for the Stade de France. So I'm actually looking forward to
it's a turn.
Liverpool.
Yeah, women are Juventus. They play at the Juventus Stadium.
Okay. Yeah. So you have Liverpool, Real, and Paris. You have Barcelona, Lyon, and Turin. I'm like, hey,
you got the names. You've got the stars. I could argue that's two Ballon d'Or matchups because I think Kat's at least in the top 5. So that's Kat versus Patelis. That's on the men's side. I think Benzema and Sané are probably the top 2.
Yeah, Benzema, Sané, and Salah.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, in terms of star power, teams, legacy, all that stuff, they got it right with both of them.
Yeah. And for those of y'all who weren't sure, there's still no Man City on the Champions League trophy. So
tell they do right by Yaya Toure, everything they touch.
Perhaps the African curse is real. Perhaps it is very.
I wouldn't mess with it.
I wouldn't.
Circling back to the Angel City game again, like we mentioned earlier, June Endo scored the first goal for Angel City FC in the Bank, and we got a whole lot of love for the name set that we did with Shayla from AC Pandemonium. Panda, and
hey, Panda.
Wow.
And but yeah, like we got a really big order, just like the Asian American contingent out in LA. Isn't it Asian American Month?
AAPI, yes, it is AAPI Heritage Month. So most teams should be doing something because most teams have AAPI representation in the NWSL. But like I saw that picture of June with people with the shirt, like it's fire. She was so excited. Like it's fire though. And after that game, I knew that yesterday's prices ain't today's prices. My guy.
Yeah, she's a capo. Okay. AC Pandemonium represent.
So everybody about to see this name set. So make sure whether it's Japanese kanji, we can do Korean, we can do Samoan, we can do all of it. Make sure you holler at ftcutd.myshopify.com. I said holler at.
I got 9 sets too.
All right. We ain't talking about you right now.
So
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
But Greggo said yesterday's prices ain't today's prices. Prices
No,
went up.
we ain't changed too much just yet. Like I said, right now we
Just
keep
yet.
steady. So keep things steady. Shout out to the people over at Atlanta Vinyl Store. They finally doing us right and everything. So yes, make sure that you get us so we can get the good stuff over to y'all. Holla at FTC UGD. Like I said, of course, we still got shirts, we still got hats, we still got hoodies. If it's still cold where you are, we got you. And get at us and whatnot. Trying to think if there's anything else that I want to plug and everything. Like,
the hoodies are mad comfortable. I travel in my Crystal Dawn hoodie. That's my airplane hoodie.
Yes.
Yeah. So you see this hoodie?
It's
hoodie?
the Papa Press like his stuff.
Well, he still got to get it.
I gotta get Papa Press and stuff.
But
he will love it. That's
a good opportunity for us to go ahead and just give it to Chris. That's like, hey.
Well, yeah, that's it. That could have happened.
Yeah,
I didn't think about that. No. I'm gonna try to give it to him Sunday.
That's what's up. But yes,
that's right. Y'all got like a bunch of home games. In the
yes, we have another home game.
4 or 5.
I'm gonna be in the streets.
That's gonna be a hard place for people to win.
Figuratively,
that place is lit.
Well, figuratively and literally. It's Mother's Day.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
But let's hop up here and 2 up and 2 down. And let's start off with me, Mark. What you got, man?
Oh man, always put me on the spot. All right. My up is for the WSL season coming to an end. Much like Premier League, it's neck and neck. Arsenal and Chelsea. Chelsea up by a point. All they got to do is win and they in. But yeah, it's good to see that like level of excitement and competition for the WSL. I mean, City and Arsenal don't have the best coaches, but they're still out there competing, making it happen. So, and then let's see for my down. I don't know. I guess my down is for this City team spending all this money and still can't win a Champions League final.
That's an up.
Somebody said their lack of depth. I was like, get out of my face.
I know, man. Listen.
Get out of my face.
And hey, you saw what they called Jack Grealish Spike Lee?
Ashna calls him Keira Knightley. Did it like Beckham, and that's hilarious, because yes.
Oh, wow.
Well, I'm sure he went and cried on the shoulder of a BBW, so because that's how he likes him.
Blessed and beautiful.
That's all you got?
That's all I got today, man.
All right. Teneticus.
Wow. The government.
That's not his government, but that's his G.I. Joe name.
Yeah, if I gotta go in. Let's see. I don't know if I have any downs, honestly. But yeah, just been on the road traveling, so going to New York, so that's a big up. I'll start with that. Looking forward to just hopping on a plane again and getting out, seeing some things. I guess, yeah, man, I don't have any other ups. Chelsea's out of the Champions League, although we should win the league, as Mark just spoke about.
Allegedly.
Yeah, well, yeah. So we'll see. I guess I do have down. Let's get this ownership transfer concluded.
Please.
It's getting kind of draggy on me.
It's getting late.
It's so very late.
I mean, they had to put out a statement today. Said like Roman doesn't want to get paid back. He doesn't want the tax money. Like, so y'all go ahead and get
I assume that means it's close. It's pretty close. Then I don't think they say that just to say it. So.
Yeah, well, I think really what this is just like the UK government. It's technically in their hands to like allow the trigger of the sale to happen. Same as Newcastle. So we're just like seeing a whole bunch of like things, headlines, and like kind of looking at Chelsea like, what the hell's going on? But
it's like a transfer rumor.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it really is. It really is.
It's close.
It'll go through those because Chelsea fans vote too, so it'll go through. Like they can't piss off an entire fan base. So.
Well, that and like we need to get to, like rebuilding the club essentially. So there's a lot of work to be done in terms of
Yeah.
that. But other than that, looking forward to the future. got lots of things on the horizon for the next couple months and actually next
No, you
rest of the year.
haven't given us in a while.
What now?
We haven't gotten any F1 stuff in a while.
Yeah, well, I don't want to make it sound like I'm only riding for Hamilton, but I am. But
Yeah.
honestly, I'd rather talk about wrestling. But we'll touch on F1 real fast. Just that right now, Charles Leclerc is leading the championship. It's been pretty much a tight race between him and Max. Would be awesome to go see the race in Miami this weekend, but unfortunately the funds aren't. That's going to be going to have to be a business trip because my pockets aren't that deep.
The baby said nah.
Yeah. But other than that, 2 races in the United States, so we shall see how this turns out. Probably it might be more packed than it was in Texas, which was the record attended race currently on the calendar. But I don't think I have any more downs or ups. But
cool. I'm gonna let the women close this out, but I'm gonna jump in here real quick.
Roe versus Wade. Touch on that.
I'm leave that one for them. The up that I have is Inter Miami. They got their stadium approved. Like I don't think anybody really expected this to actually happen, but it actually happened. They got approved by a 4-1 vote in the city. So we are getting Inter Miami Stadium in Freedom Park. It's like right by the airport, right, Skye?
I don't know. It's not say magically found land to put a fucking stadium.
Yeah, it's like the land as it is right now. It's like a golf course, but it's like right by the airport, if I'm not mistaken. But I guess it's 2022 now, so I'm guessing the probable target date is probably 2025, if I had to guess. Maybe 2024, but hey, it's about to finally go down, and you never know. We might have a NWSL team that comes along with it, because I can't imagine, like I said, with everything that happened this past week with Angel City, that they're starting to like, hey, the league is open for business. So whether it's Miami, Atlanta, Nashville, Cincinnati,
Austin,
Utah, like they got options. So I think this was a very between that game and of course what we're going to see this weekend with the Challenge Cup final. It's a pretty big fucking week for the league. So and then they also they officially signed the new CBA deal at the stadium before the game on Friday. So things are moving onward and upward for NWSL. And again, congrats to Inter Miami. Diego Maradona, his hand of God jersey allegedly. Whatever jersey it was, it sold for $9.28 million this past week. Easily the most expensive sale for a jersey ever. So, that's a whole lot of monies and everything. And then also Kevin Durant buying into Gotham FC.
Yeah.
Yeah, him and his partner with 35 Ventures. Yeah, they're like, he must like, I don't know what it is about just not buying into the DC teams, but he seems to be good with the tri-state teams.
PG County.
PG County's finest right there, boy.
So he got a piece of the Union, he got a piece of Gotham, so I guess that's where his money is going as far as soccer goes. At least is there. But other than that, I really don't have really any downs. Again, I think the big down is obviously what Skye and Sylvs will probably go into with what's likely to happen with the Supreme Court. But yeah, that's really all I got. I'm gonna flip a coin. Go with
me.
Wait,
all
how do
right.
you flip a coin and still go make a decision?
Hey, you just roll with it.
I was confused about that process.
You want to logic? Oh, okay. Let's see. Yeah, I'll start with down so we can end on ups. Yeah, I mean, Greggo touched on it, but the leaked uh, decision, I guess, opinion we're gonna go with from the Supreme Court, written by Alito, that basically said the Supreme Court was looking to overturn Roe v. Wade on the premise of it is not covered by privacy, which is upsetting because of the actual law for people who give birth, but also what the right to privacy covers outside of that. So we're talking about civil rights laws. We're talking about DOMA, which is the law that made gay marriage legal. We're talking about interracial marriage, right? It's a way to overturn Loving versus Virginia. Like there's all sorts of rulings that have come down. Braun versus Board of Education. Like all of that could be undone because right to privacy, which seems to have been the plan all along. The upside is whoever leaked it, I mean, did the public a service in that, well, you at least have time to rally, bother your politicians, all of that stuff. So here's hoping we can stop it. But right now the court is loaded not in the favor of most people, and they would be making a decision that is unpopular with the majority of Americans. Something between 70 and 80% of Americans support keeping Roe v. Wade. So yeah, it's just really crappy to realize that, you know, with the multiple identities that you hold, that your country hates you. So that was the crappy into the Monday that we had. And I mean, obviously that's sort of my biggest down. Up, like we said, hung out in Los Angeles, got to go to the opener for the league and opener for that city, and was truly just happy for the city of Los Angeles, who've really been clamoring for a women's football team for a long time, since the Soul left. And you have some of the best talent in the country coming out of that area, and so the ability to play at home in front of people who've known you all your life, and it was just wired, and it was a catharsis, like a release and a relief. And that goal just sort of sent people over the edge. And you could tell at the end of the game, particularly the LA players, I saw Allie Riley just hit her knees and cry because she never thought she'd get to do that. And in fact, she was drafted and then the Soul folded, like the league folded before she got drafted. So yeah, it was just an incredible weekend for women's football. I know people have opinions about that team, but like I don't think that's a net win for the sport. And some things are going to change because that team is here. And listen, you bring Los Angeles into any sport, it's bound to happen. And other teams are coming, that Bay Area team's coming, and they're going to change stuff. And it's sometimes you got to push the people who are there. And so, and they're always going to be pretty. You're not always going to like it, but yeah, they could use a Swift kit. Like they could use it. So yeah, it was a really cool experience. It was a really good game. And like, I think that's a good football team. Like they play
Yeah,
football.
it is.
Well,
It ain't.
it's a gritty team. It's not actually that flashy. And so, yeah, I think that was just a good experience. And then it's graduation week here. So just really excited to see these students walk across the stage, knowing what so many of them have been through, both just in the sense of pandemic, but also many of them are the first in their families, and you can watch the trajectory of generations change in a moment. And so always here to celebrate our Black and brown young people for getting it done in the midst of unimaginable adversity and the pride that their loved ones have in them, and getting to see them walk across that stage. So it's always a very exhausting but joyous weekend. And lastly, shout out to my mama. Happy Mother's Day.
Cool. Rounding this all out, Skye Jesus, what you got?
All right, so let's see. My down. I don't like me having downs, but yeah, men trying to legislate women's bodies when, like, people don't understand pregnancy is the most dangerous time in a woman's life. And then the ramifications around reproductive health and the lack thereof research that I can rant on and on forever. Fuck y'all. So I'm gonna leave that there. Also, people not know how to drive, because if y'all run one more white in California, we gonna fight. Not bringing it back. So good things. Angel City situation. I know a lot of people are saying release, but I've been predicted it was gonna be this electric. Just witnessing and knowing how detailed and pumped people watch and live and breathe Woso. So people even thinking that anybody not named Kristen Press was not gonna be the first time player is like, you ain't lived here. Y'all don't gonna understand. Like, they for real serious about soccer. So what you thought to think that was never gonna be your person who was gonna get picked. So I was not shocked. I actually think it'll get louder as things happen that we know about come to reality. Cause y'all ain't seen no shit like that. And so it's cool. It's gonna be interesting because you'll have something similar probably happen in the Bay Area too. Just cause how passionate people are about soccer and how diverse the crowd is. And so I think that's the beginning of, eardrums are gonna pop at some point, depending on who's played. So yeah, that was a cool experience. It was really diverse. I saw all the peoples. It was cool to see my supporter groups and other supporter groups do that thing. The TIFO, shout out to all.
That was a beautiful team.
Like, yeah, I was
and the song associated to it. So I knew pieces of this shit, but I couldn't tell people. But that was cool to see it actually play out. And let's see what else. It's cool to see all the people, the diversity. I got people who are hitting me up that want to go to games. So it's cool to see the greatness that is the football, and you shall see us in the streets to be contributed to community. I guess my other up is, it's Mother's Day, so shout out to my mama. Her and her chapter at the Fisk University, they had their anniversary for the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So, shouts out to her. And then what else is there? And then shout out to I don't know. I don't have a team. I'm a fan free agent. So shout out to all the people. Shout out to the teams rebuilding.
And shout out
because like we didn't talk about Nashville and their stadium. In the article with Reese Witherspoon and her husband.
Tennessee Titans
Soccer Club and
wait, they're Tennessee Titans soccer.
Yeah, that's what they call.
That was what they were called. So yeah, like that's
soccer.
Also, Reese Witherspoon, NWSL right there.
I mean, like I said, like the stadium's there now. Again, you got Nashville, Memphis, Cincinnati, Columbus. Like, I would say anyone check it out NWSL right now, I'd be like, yeah, this is a good time to get into it, and
yes,
and hopefully the league takes advantage of this moment and expands, because obviously the talent is available.
Yeah.
Sidebar, WNBA, take that.
I was gonna say they start this week too, but yeah.
Yes, they start this week, and y'all can expand too.
Yes, very much.
They need to expand.
Both your roster size and your teams.
Yeah,
like number of teams.
Way too much talent for them.
144 spots. 144 spots.
Yeah. Big stat, but yeah. Again,
I need to get fluked out.
As far as just our statement on the leaks and everything, this is why all these elections matter, because conservatives had a plan. And they said, hey, whether we're in the White House or not, let's say we're still going to take all these state houses. We're going to take all these governor houses, and we're going to put things in place to where judges are placed here, judges are placed there, to where when it gets to this point, they're able to get that kind of stuff through. So never underestimate the power of what voting can do, because it could put you right in this spot right here. So but hopefully Roe v. Wade gets codified, so that way whatever the Supreme Court does, it's still there no matter what. So
exactly,
T's and P's to all that. But yes, that's all we got for this week. Again, next week we got North London Derby. We got what else? I don't know what else we got. Like the Champions League finals for a couple weeks. So
I think FA Cup finals are both
Yeah,
this month as well.
that's the next week, so that probably like the week after. So yeah, but we will be here. Shea Butter will be around. 2 Cents will be around. The whole squad will be around. As always, you can find us on socials at FTC.
UTD.
Not bad.
Wow.
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, FTC UTD Pod on TikTok. You can find Shea Butter FC at SBFC_podcast on Instagram and Facebook. Not Facebook. Oh, I should get a Facebook. But whatever. Twitter. But and of course,
And SheaButterFC.com. Thank you.
Yes. You know, I don't even plug our website enough because FTCUG.com, you can get our good stuff as well. But yeah. We got a home team, got a game this week. We'll see who's available because everybody's damn near injured right now. But we'll see how that goes.
Threw away our man Moraney.
Yo, stop coming for these people, family, man. Stop doing that shit. But yeah, for the whole squad, for Mark, for TK, for Skye, Sylvs, for Coach, for Mayor, for L, for Ty, for Kaya. Shout out to Harvard. The coach is real. Coaches everywhere. Again, protect these women. Protect each other. Love each other. We'll see y'all soon. And we out.
FTC UTD.